Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you today is going to blow your mind. You're not going to believe this actually occurred. What I'm about to show you is coming from the LA Times of all places. Now, you guys remember Gavin Newsom's little quest to get rid of concealed carry called SB2 that got stopped in the courts and Gav got his hair gel all melted? Remember that? Well, the LA Times is openly throwing it under the bus. They're saying all the quiet parts out loud. Watch this whole video. I'm going to go through as quick as I can because some of this stuff, particularly at the end, is going to blow your mind that it's coming out of the LA Times and who the demographics are of who the readers of the LA Times. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. All right. Without much further ado, let's dive into this because one of the things that we say consistently is how do the laws that are coming from gun controllers affect those that are the most vulnerable? Well, LA Times must have been watching. Check this out. California says its new gun law is about public safety, but what about these women? Yep, you read that right. It's linked right down there because I could only get in a few of the greatest things ever. Check this out. Kismet Jackson used to carry her handgun just about everywhere in San Bernardino County. To get her nails done, to pick up her prescription, to hang out with her grandchildren. For her, it was all about staying safe. When was the last time you saw an LA Times article talking about gun ownership saying how a woman was protecting herself and keeping herself safe? That's the big first flag where you're like, excuse me, what now? I'm telling you, something's going on. Let's keep going. I'm going to go through quickly. This is mind-boggling. This part, they actually admit what Gavin did. The law, known as Senate Bill 2, was drafted as a workaround to the U.S. Supreme Court decision from 2022 that threw out a chunk of the states and the nation's gun control regulations as unconstitutional, theoretically making it easier for people to obtain concealed carry licenses. Listen to this next part. It was meant as a retaliatory blow to the Supreme Court, ostensibly designed to keep California from turning into Florida and other red states, where alarming permitless carry laws mean there's no longer anything preventing people, trained or untrained, from strapping on a Glock and heading to the grocery store. Oh my gosh, the freedom! Anyway, ostensibly getting around the Supreme Court. They are openly saying what they did. Okay, you can't be more clear than that from the LA Times. And now we start to get into the part where they throw the rest under the bus. But SB2, sponsored by State Senator Anthony Portantino, went further than the laws that were in place before the Supreme Court's decimation of common sense gun control regulations. Now, even Californians who have submitted an extensive background check and participated in hours of training can't legally carry their firearms without running afoul of the list of banned places, which, let's be honest, are up just about everywhere. The LA Times is just saying the quiet part out loud. We're just letting the cat out of the bag now. So it was meant to smoke back at the Supreme Court. It was meant to curtail gun rights. It was meant to basically say you can't run your gun anywhere because you'd run afoul because, let's face it, it's be everywhere. What? And now let's talk about how it affects women. This is an important piece of this. If the law survives the latest legal challenge, quote, I've got to leave my firearm in a locked container inside my car, Jackson lamented. The woman is lamenting. It's negatively impacting the woman who wants to protect herself. What have we said consistently over and over and over on this channel? The gun control laws are meant to infringe through inconvenience. They are meant to infringe upon affecting those that don't have the right to say anything. Go back to the Supreme Court that we just did videos on. Even that was meant and rigged for the government, not for the little guy. Understand what's happening here. These things that are coming out are much larger than this. Do we have gun rights? Do we not have gun rights? People are starting to figure out that the problem between safety and their outcomes that they desire is the state, not the gun. Let's keep going, because this is the part where it gets mind-boggling. They flat out say it's flawed. Check this out. And there are parts of SB2 that are good. The doubling of the amount of training needed to get a concealed carry permit from 8 to 16 hours, for example, and deepening background checks to include social media scans and personal references. After all, this is LA Times. You got to give them something, right? But SB2 is still flawed. Attempting to shadow ban concealed carry permits is not likely to reduce gun violence. What? So not only are they admitting gun control is not going to reduce gun violence, Not only are they saying openly that it was meant in defying the Supreme Court to their face, they're now saying it's a shadow ban, a way around the Constitution to get what you want, but still have to basically say, like, haha, nanny boo boo, we gave your concealed carry, but you can't use it because you can't carry it in these places. What's the LA Times been doing? They've been sniffing glue? Anyway, this last one, this one is why I asked you to stay till the end. Check this out. In the LA Times, the last non-self-defense homicide committed by a concealed carry permit holder took place in 2019 in Modesto, and the assailant was charged and convicted. The second most recent happened in 2010, a Southern California security guard who killed his ex-girlfriend and her new partner. In Fresno County, the sheriff said there hasn't been a crime involving any of its roughly 12,300 concealed carry permit holders in at least 2 years. Fresno has one of the highest numbers of permit holders in the state. So the LA Times is telling you, in the highest concealed carry owners in the state concentration, you haven't had a single crime in 2 years. The most recent concealed carry owner who did anything negative with their firearm was in 2019. They were charged and convicted. And then before that, it was 2010. So you're rolling on an average of 1 or 2 every single decade. Meanwhile, you've got all the criminals who didn't do their background checks, who didn't buy the guns legally, all the stuff that they've done, committing crimes on the daily to the point where it's an epidemic. You want to talk about an epidemic? That's an epidemic. And somehow we got to punish the concealed carry holders. Isn't that weird how that works out? The LA Times is not going to all of a sudden become a conservative gun rights organization. However, what they can recognize is stupid when they see it, and they're openly saying it's a workaround. It is still flawed. It does not make sense. Let's be honest, it's a shadow ban. What? And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.